We're going to discuss three different traditional theories of leadership. The first one we'll talk about is the trait approach, which is a leadership theory that attempted to show that leaders possess certain characteristics that non-leaders did not. Second is the power approach, and this is leadership theory which examines the types of power wielded by leaders. And third, the behavioral approach, leadership theory that focused on the kinds of behavior engaged in by people in leadership roles and identified two major types. Consideration, behavior indicating mutual trust, respect, and certain warmth and rapport between supervisor and group. And initiating structure, behavior in which supervisor organizes and defines group activities and his or her relationship to the group. In the trait approach to leadership, there's a belief that leaders possess certain traits that non-leaders do not. We can define traits very broadly as characteristics of people that are stable over time and consistent across situations. There are three broad categories of traits that have been studied in relation to leadership effectiveness. The first one is biological traits such as age, height, weight, and gender, or their relationship between these characteristics of the individual and their effectiveness as a leader. Do taller people make better leaders than shorter people? Are women better leaders than men? And so forth. Second category studied is personality traits such as extroversion, esteem, neuroticism, sociability. So there's certain personality that lends itself to leadership better than others. And the third category are cognitive skills such as your scholarship, your verbal skills, your vocabulary. To people who have greater cognitive abilities tend to make better leaders. And the research has shown that there's no consistent relationships between traits and leadership effectiveness. One of the reasons that a relationship has not been found between leadership traits and their effectiveness as leaders, they have defined leadership effectiveness in terms of productivity. Taking a leader's group or team and establishing some measure of productivity or efficiency or output of the group, and see if there's a relationship between certain traits that a leader possesses and how productive their group is. So that research design is possibly flawed in looking at the relationship between leadership effectiveness and certain traits. Well, what we do know is that there are certain leadership traits, certainly personality traits in particular, that do impact employees' commitment, their motivation, their loyalty, their sense of job satisfaction. And these in return probably do influence group productivity. So it's more likely that the leadership traits influence certain behaviors of group members and influence their commitment to do the work and so forth. And that kind of indirectly would have an impact on group productivity. Leaders exert influence on their followers through power. And 5 types of power have been studied most often. First one is reward power, and this is the ability to reward individuals for desired performance. So if members of a team or members of a group are behaving or performing in the way the leader desires, he or she, if he has the power to reward them, can influence them by giving them rewards and incentives. Second type of power is coercive power, and this is just the opposite. This is the power to punish people for undesired performance. So we talk about the carrot and the stick, and this would be using the stick. Third type of power is legitimate power. This is power that comes with the job or the title, and people are obligated to oblige the leader. So legitimate power for a college professor has the power to determine how many tests you're going to have, what the homework assignments are, and the power to determine grades. It comes with the job, regardless of who is holding the job. If you are a boss or supervisor in an organization, you probably have some legitimate power to hire and fire people or put people on probation. It's part of the job. Referent power is a personal power derived from followers identifying with the leader. This is more of the power that a leader has because people want to follow that person. They admire that individual. They have common attitudes and beliefs and morals. They want that individual to succeed, and they will do what they can to help that person. An expert power has to do with knowledge and expertise that a leader has that the followers do not. You brush your teeth and you floss every night because your dentist tells you to. Your dentist has expert power. Dentists went to dental school and you didn't. You're going to do what they say because they have some knowledge and expertise that you don't. Leaders use their power to influence or persuade others. The degree of influence falls along a continuum from resistance to commitment, with compliance at the midpoint. Compliance is doing what the leader wants you to do, but no more, the minimal amount you can do to stay out of trouble. Commitment is full buy-in to the leader's goals and your willingness to do whatever it takes to help the leader achieve the goals. For example, what level of influence is indicated by the contributions of the chicken and the pig in making the farmer's breakfast? The chicken complies, but the pig must be fully committed. Different types of power usually, but not always, result in different levels of influence. Reward power can lead to high levels of commitment. What are you willing to do for $1 million? Coercive power often results in resistance or at most compliance. People do not like being forced to do something or punished for not doing it. The same with legitimate power. If the only reason you follow a leader's wishes is because he or she is your boss or your professor, then your heart is not fully in it. Referent power usually results in commitment. You identify with the leader and you want him or her to succeed. Charismatic politicians have referent power. They cannot force people to vote for them, nor can they directly reward or punish them. Expert power usually results in compliance. You will brush your teeth for 2 minutes every night as your dentist told you to do, but not a second more. The behavioral approach to leadership proposes that effective leaders adopt a leadership style depending on the situation. This is often referred to as situational leadership. The two dominant leadership styles are consideration and structure. Consideration focuses on building relationships and trust. Structure focuses on getting tasks done by setting rules and procedures and building systems and processes. Examples of consideration behaviors include doing personal favors for group members, finding time to listen to group members, looking out for the personal welfare or individual of group members, treats all group members as his or her equals, is friendly and approachable. Examples of structure behaviors includes assigning group members to particular tasks, scheduling the work to be done, emphasizing the meeting of deadlines, encouraging the use of uniform procedures. The behavioral approach to leadership theory, often referred to as situational leadership, proposes that leaders need to change or modify their leadership style according to the situation. No single leadership style is best for all situations. Leadership style can be plotted along two dimensions: consideration and initiating structure. Consideration refers to leadership behaviors that focus on building and maintaining relationships. These behaviors tend to be supportive, caring, and nurturing in nature. Initiating structure refers to leadership behaviors that focus on getting tasks done. These behaviors are related to directing people, establishing rules and procedures, and assessing performance. Leaders high on consideration tend to end their sentences in a question mark, while leaders high on structure end theirs with a period. For example, a high consideration leader would ask his or her team, "What day do you think we should start the project?" While a high structure leader would say, "Start the project on Monday." When we divide the two-dimensional grid into 4 equal quadrants, 4 work-related situations are identified: S1, S2, S3, and S4. Each situation requires a different style of leadership, some combination of consideration and structure. For example, S1 is a situation in which a high structure and low consideration leadership style is most effective. Can you think of a situation when it is more important to tell people what to do than it is to build relationships? This leadership style is appropriate when there is a high sense of urgency, there's not enough time to get to know each other and build trust and rapport, and there are rookie team members. In other words, individuals who are new and experienced or poorly trained, who are looking for and need guidance, need someone to tell them what to do. Examples include turning around an unprofitable manufacturing plant in a short period of time, or close it down. Need somebody with strong leadership skills to come in and tell people what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. There's not time to build relationships. We need to make the plant profitable or everybody's going to lose their job. Or how about Marines going through boot camp? Drill sergeants are not there to be your friend. In S2 situations, a high structure and high consideration leadership style is most effective. When is it important to build both relationships and to tell people what to do? These are situations where there isn't a great sense of urgency. You're dealing with rookie team members who are there to learn and need guidance and direction. But it's also important that you build trust and maintain relationships because you'll be working with these people for a long time. This is typical of a lot of training situations where you expect people to move along a slow learning curve and you allow plenty of time for that. In S3 situations, a low structure and high consideration leadership style is called for. Can you think of a situation in which building relationships is more important than giving direction? Again, these are situations where there isn't a high sense of urgency. The team members are not rookies, but they're experienced, knowledgeable people who know what they're doing. They don't need someone to step in and tell them how to do their jobs. But it is important that the leader does establish a rapport and build trust with the people. So basically, these are leaders who are there when you need help. They will support you, but they're not going to tell you what to do or micromanage you because that's not necessary. In S4 situations, a low structure and low consideration leadership style is best. And these are situations where there's minimal demands for a leader. There's not a sense of urgency. Leaders tend to be experienced, knowledgeable, they know what they're doing. Basically, your role as a leader is to get out of the way. There's typically situations where the work group is functioning well, and a leader trying to change things or telling them what to do is more likely to mess things up than have any improvement. So these are situations in which they have a well-functioning, kind of self-directed team that doesn't need a strong or dominant leader to guide them. Let's look at an example of leadership from the perspective of types of power used and leadership style. This is a situation. General Patton was sent to rehabilitate an Army battalion that recently lost a battle. There's a high sense of urgency. There's a war being fought, and lives are at stake. The soldiers are undisciplined and poorly trained. What types of power does General Patton have? Well, he's got legitimate power by rank. He's a general. He can command individuals below his rank to follow his command. He also has expert power. You don't get to be a general unless you are an expert soldier and military technician. I think everyone in the Army at the time, during World War II, recognized General Patton as an expert. Will he add reward or coercive power to his leadership toolkit? As you'll see in this video clip, he chooses to add coercive power. And what type of leadership style is called for in this situation? Typically, we call for a high-structured, task-oriented approach. There's no time for building relationships. People need to be told what to do and to follow orders.
Up bright and early, General. Breakfast?
Am I to understand that all my officers have finished breakfast?
Oh, we're open from 6 to 8. Most of the officers just coming in, sir.
Please inform these officers that the mess hall is closed.
But sir, it's only 7:45.
No, you will open at 6, and no one will be admitted after 6:15. Where are your leggings?
Leggings? Well, hell, General, sir, I'm a cook.
You're a soldier. $20 fine. Gentlemen, from this moment, any man without leggings, without a helmet, without a tie, any man with unshined shoes or soiled uniform is going to be skinned. This is the barracks. It's not a bordello.